You're talking about aura.
Let me tell you something. When he walked through,
Just aura, that's it.
everything
Just aura.
changed.
Yeah.
Alrighty, folks. Mission control ready for launch.
You've heard all the stories, the punches in practice. The trash talk went deeper than any defender could, and Michael Jordan was not just great, he was terrifying. It wasn't just about a scoring title or being seen on a highlight reel. This was an attitude that crushed teammates and opponents alike. He didn't want friends, he wanted killers beside him, and if you couldn't take the heat, he'll make sure you feel it every day. But what made him that way? How could a kid from North Carolina cut from his high school varsity team and become the most feared and respected player in NBA history? What drove him to push his teammates to the edge? And how did that obsession with greatness turn into 6 NBA titles, 2 three-peats, and a legacy that still looms over the entire sport? This is how Michael Jordan was anointed a basketball god, and why even those closest to him feared him. Let's break it down. Before the rings, before the fame, before the fear. But it was before all this that he was just a kid in Wilmington, North Carolina, with a chip on his shoulder and something to prove. He built it, never born into greatness. And it all started with one of the most talked about rejections in sports history. As a skinny sophomore, Jordan was cut from his high school varsity basketball team. Let that sink in. The greatest basketball player of all time wasn't good enough to make the team. Most kids would fold. MJ took it personally. That moment lit a fire inside him that never went out. He went to work every morning before class, every evening after practice. He obsessed over getting better. He grew, he trained, he studied the game. By the time he made varsity the next year, he was much better. He was a problem. By his senior year, Jordan was averaging nearly 30 points per game and dominating the high school circuit. Scouts were beginning to notice. Programs started lining up, but it was the University of North Carolina that crossed the finish line, and under the legendary Dean Smith, Jordan's killer instinct became something lethal. He wasn't even just one more top recruit at UNC. He was a rising star there. As a freshman, he hit the winning basket in 1982 for the NCAA championship, ice in his veins, and all just 19 years old. That's when the entire world saw the spark for the first time. The kid who got cut in high school has just won a national title, and he was just getting started. Having to knock down such a murderer game-winning shot in the NCAA title game did not make Michael Jordan a prospect turned star. It made him a future star. In 1984, Chicago Bulls drafted him 3rd overall in the NBA draft, sucked in with Hakeem Olajuwon and Sam Bowie. Yeah, Sam Bowie. It soon became evident that Jordan was given the face of the franchise as he walked into the league with a swagger most rookies would only dream of having. And most importantly, he backed that swagger up. In his rookie season, MJ averaged 28.2 points, 6.5 rebounds, and 5.9 assists. That's not upside, that's dominance. Rookie of the year, and the league began buzzing, dependence on air. The other teams were not championship laden. Bulls were inconsistent and found themselves bowing out early in playoff contention. Jordan, however, kept mounting. And then, the event that shook the NBA, the 1986 playoffs versus the Boston Celtics. Jordan scored a record-setting 63 points against Bird's legendary Celtics team. Since then, the game was lost, but Bird himself said that wasn't Michael Jordan out there. It was God in the guise of Michael Jordan. Certainly, the league took notice. This was not just a budding kid star. This was a problem. Jordan continued to improve year after year, with statistics climbing higher. The scoring champ perfected his mid-range game and increased his flight above the basket. He was brilliant as an individual, yet the Bulls could not reach the playoffs, and especially to the bad boy Pistons, who made it their mission to mess him up every time he touched the ball. And Jordan never complained. He simply bulked up. He worked harder. Numbers didn't matter. Greatness did not really matter. He really wanted to win. And that hunger, that's what separated him from the rest. By the dawn of the 1990s, he had already done everything that had kids sticking out their tongues worldwide. Still, one ring is missing. In 1991, MJ and the Bulls made it through the wall. He faced Magic Johnson in the NBA Finals, the twilight of Showtime, the rising of Jordan. The Bulls beat the Lakers in 5 games, and after years of carrying the question, can he win, Jordan held that trophy and wept in the locker room. But it was not just one ring, it was the beginning of a dynasty. The match was against Clyde Drexler and the Blazers in 1992, against Charles Barkley and the Suns in 1993. 3 championships in a row, 3 finals MVPs. The basketball world belonged to Jordan. And then, with a snap of the finger, he went away. His father had met a violent death. Mentally and emotionally, he was in tatters. Jordan retired and shocked the world by stepping onto a baseball diamond instead of a court. For 18 months, the NBA felt different. Something was missing. But 2 words in March 1995 said everything. I'm back. It took him a few games to get his legs back, but by the 1995-96 season, the Bulls were not just back, they were historic. 72 wins, the best regular season record in NBA history at that moment. Jordan was the MVP, and they cruised to the title, obliterating Gary Payton and Shawn Kemp's Supersonics in 6. Next came the 1997 finals, the infamous flu game. Jordan, dehydrated and exhausted, dropped 38 points on the Jazz and collapsed into Scottie Pippen's arms. Still iconic. The last dance came in 1998. Same opponent, Utah. Same stage, Game 6. Final seconds. Jordan crosses over Byron Russell, pulls up, and buries the shot. The last shot. His 6th championship. His 6th Finals MVP. No Game 7s. No wasted chances. Only perfection. 2 three-peats. An impossible standard. And a legacy built on winning when it mattered most. Michael Jordan went very hard, not only in the games, but even harder in practice. But if you weren't ready for war, you were going to get punished. Practice for MJ wasn't about reps, but survival. It was personal to him. In every drill, every scrimmage, every possession, if you weren't competing like it was Game 7 of the finals, you were just in his way, and you would be made to know it. Just ask Steve Kerr. In a particularly heated 1995 practice, Kerr stood up to Jordan after some hard fouls and back alley talk. Bad idea. MJ punched him in the eye. Kerr said it ultimately bonded them.
Steve Kerr guarding me.
We were on opposite sides in a scrimmage, and he's talking all kinds of trash.
Calling these ticket-type fouls.
I have a lot of patience as a human being, but I'm gonna fight.
He hauls off and hits me in the chest. And Phil just throws me out of practice.
Jordan called Phil Jackson to apologize afterward, but the lesson had been learned. Hardness was demanded. Respect was earned through fire. Scott Burrell, he got it worse. MJ would not only kill him in practice, but would also call him soft, question his manhood, and even clown him on the cameras through The Last Dance. It wasn't bullying for the sake of his own ego. Jordan laid it on the table. When the lights came on, I had to know he could take it. Then here goes Horace Grant. If he had a bad game, Jordan would literally tell the flight attendant not to serve him food on the team plane. Will Perdue? An additional punch preceded a call of softness issued by Jordan before the entire team. That was the standard. If you couldn't take the pressure, you couldn't win with him. It wasn't about being liked. I don't care if you hated him. What did he care about? Rings. His teammates later admitted it. Yeah, they feared him, but they also became champions because of him. MJ's leadership was neither hugs nor handshakes, but fire, friction, and fear. And the result? 6 titles, 2 three-peats, and a team so tough that the finals felt like a walk in the park compared to practice. Michael Jordan is regarded as the greatest player the sport has ever known. During Jordan's time, China was made an even bigger basketball giant, since it is now immeasurable. Players such as LeBron James and Stephen Curry comment on how they owe their careers to MJ for their skill, work ethic, and competitive spirit. To Jordan, the very pursuit of being great and showing up in the big moments was what should be a definition of greatness. The entire approach that players now use when playing, classes to take in mind psychological toughness and physical toughness, can therefore be tracked back to him. Culturally, he took basketball from a local sport to one globally celebrated. His association with Nike sparked the creation of the Air Jordan line, now a shoe and a cultural statement. The Jordan brand became synonymous with success, style, and swagger. Jordan's influence transcended sports and seeped into music, fashion, and even Hollywood to become a worldwide symbol of greatness. The psychology of MJ's mindset is legendary. Turning any challenge into fuel for his competitive fire became the playbook for modern-day athletes. Whether it was his flu game in the 1997 finals or his unwavering leadership, Jordan showed that mental toughness was just as important as physical ability. I can accept failure, but I can't accept not trying. Epitomizes his philosophy on the court and in life. Statistically unassailable. 6 NBA championships, 5 MVP awards, 14 All-Star appearances, and iconic moments for an epoch. From buzzer beaters to the NBA Finals, so many narratives that have endeared Jordan are not just numbers, but stories behind the very people they inspire, and thousands of aspiring athletes everywhere. His case for being the GOAT rests not just on the statistics, but on how he changed the game forever. Was Michael Jordan feared or respected? The answer may lie in both terms. His opponents feared his unmatched skills, tremendous will to win, and the ability to dominate through the clutch, but they also strongly respected him for his work ethic, leadership, and commitment to greatness. What do you think? Did